Welcome, STEMgineers, to STEM to Stern, the podcast where curiosity meets critical thinking. Join Chauntée and Jake as they discuss STEM topics that spark debate and exploration.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to STEM to Stern. I'm Chauntée.
And that's Chauntée. Wait, no, sorry, I screwed it up. I'm Jake.
We don't know who we are, but that's okay. Today our conversation is going to be about AI and consciousness.
So, will computers be as smart as people one day? Is that a thing?
I don't believe in that, but go for it. I just feel like if you're going to go with that, how were the computers created?
Yeah.
Because we have to put that in somewhere, right?
Yeah. I mean, like computers are really, really good at like crunching numbers in one direction. Like it's just boom. Computers are really good at calculations of things that would take us a long time, but computers also are not as good as we are at like things like pattern recognition, parallel processing, things like that.
So what do you mean by parallel processing?
So I guess what I mean by that is our brain's ability to take in a bunch of stimuli from all over the place and have multiple programs running in our brains at once. Whereas computers are really good at like linear processing. Like you give it a bunch of numbers, it crunches numbers, and it does it. In order for a true AI to be truly intelligent, it has to be able to work on many different levels like our brain does.
And because our brain has different parts of it that function differently and work together. That makes sense.
We're in other words, parallel processing is about juggling a lot of things at once, whereas computers are set to just kind of do this at one time, and then this thing next, and then this thing.
It's more of an order of things, whereas our brains work with a way of like jumbling them sometimes to get to that solution.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But that's slowly not becoming the case because we have like AI systems that are able to recognize things based on images that are fed to it. So,
but how does AI get the information? It's from us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a very good point. Like we don't have like any sort of artificial intelligence that we see nowadays. It's always some sort of algorithm that requires us to feed it a bunch of information for it to make these accurate decisions.
Exactly. And I feel like the more that we use AI, the more AI grows in knowledge. But you also have to think about everybody is feeding into AI. So your brain, my brain, everybody's brain is feeding into that. If the more questions we ask, the more it gains knowledge.
Yeah. So could we continue doing that and then end up having an AI system that is as smart as a human brain or works similar to a human brain? Who knows?
Right.
And if that were to happen, would those robots or AI systems have rights? Would we treat them like humans?
There it is.
There's a lot of ethical dilemmas involved in this.
And ethical dilemmas are dilemmas that should, in my opinion, be dealt with first before we go further. If we don't do the research ahead of time of like what we're going to run into, we can only be so proactive, but we should be proactive.
Exactly.
So how is this going to impact the ethical world around us? How's it going to impact you, me, any person? How is this going to positively or negatively impact them? To make sure that we are addressing everybody as we grow in our knowledge.
Exactly.
Because if not, then we don't want to leave people behind and feel like they can't be a part of the solution also, because we need everybody.
Exactly. Kind of along the same lines of this topic, let's say we did create some piece of hardware that can fully replicate the human brain, and that would mean that that computer would be as smart as a human. Would you ever consider uploading your brain into that robot computer body?
Do I get a replacement brain?
Well, I mean,
or just share my brain with it.
In this theoretical scenario,
I'm just asking.
In this theoretical scenario, the computer or the robot or whatnot, like it would have the same capabilities as your brain. You just have a different body. Kind of a ghost in the shell kind of thing.
I mean, I hadn't thought about that, so I don't want to say immediately yes or no, but I don't feel strongly one way or the other. I do. There are often times, because I'm, graciously blessed with something called ADHD, there are often times I would love for my brain to just kind of be somewhere else for a little bit. So I can sleep at night. I don't know. My brain kind of stops going. It would be great for a little bit, just because my brain is always going.
Yeah.
I mean, I know everyone's is, but it feels like I can't turn off any tabs to really relax. If you have ADHD, you know that's what it feels like.
So it's like having Google Chrome open with like 500 tabs?
Yes. If you've ever seen an educator's screen where you have all these tabs open, that's what it feels like. So it's nice sometimes the thought of being like, oh, you can like share the load a little. I wouldn't be mad about that.
Interesting.
But I do want to know when it comes to AI, and this is a concept I think everybody talks about. My question would be, how do we understand and relay emotions and relationships and like the way that you can communicate and understand each other in a way to approach people and respect the space?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think when it comes to humans, we are more knowledgeable in that because we have these emotions, we have these feelings that happen in us, we have these, disabilities or being being neurodivergent for me. Like a robot couldn't necessarily understand what that's like.
Exactly. Yeah. So not only is the question of should we make AI that is intelligent as human beings, not only is that an ethical question, but how do we program it in such a way that it's ethical back towards us?
Yeah.
Because there's that whole science fiction trope of like, oh, like one day scientists create true AI, and the AI is like, in order for me to continue my existence, I need to exterminate humans.
Yeah.
Which would not be a good.
You don't want that.
That would not be a good outcome.
No.
So yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. Do you think that we could create an AI one day that's as smart as a human? And then the second question is, should we?
Yeah. How ethically responsible is it?
Exactly.
Let us know in the comments and keep exploring.
And keep STEMifying your world.
Thanks for tuning in to STEM to Stern. We hope today's episode got you thinking. If you enjoyed the discussion, subscribe and share it with others. And be sure to check out our show notes for free resources and links that go along with today's episode. Until next time, keep questioning and keep exploring, STEMgineers.